Oh no, Matt again. Welcome to my channel. I'm Achoo. The same pronunciation as you sneeze. Achoo. Okay, that's just a joke. As a pure petrolhead and motorcycle rider in China, I'd like to share some first-person POV about bike riding with you. This channel will be mainly about what the progressive development Chinese bikes like to ride, and what's the goods and disadvantages compared to the foreign brands like Kawasaki, Honda, BMW, Ducati and so on. But don't worry, I will base on the true feeling, not to bias anyone. For a long time, Chinese motorcycles and Chinese vehicles represented cheap price and quality. When we considered some sport bikes and luxury bikes in the past days, we don't have any choice but to suffer the foreign bikes' outrageous premium. Let me give you an example. The Honda Dream CBR 650R, which is double price compared to Japan. Nowadays, the Chinese companies try their best to improve quality and performance. So now we can get Chinese bikes from 125cc in the past to 800cc or even 1-liter bikes. They are getting bigger, punchier, and better, but still remain their cheap price feature. So in the first video, I'd like to introduce you the latest outstanding motorcycle among them, the CFMOTO 800NK. But before that, I think I need to introduce myself first. As a bike rider, I currently run two bikes. One is a 2019 Ducati Scrambler 800 with some modifications. I have to say this bike is marvelous. Riding a Ducati Scrambler always brings a huge smile on my face. It's such a passion and characteristic bike, typical Ducati. Another bike is from China local company called Moto Flash 300. What a stupid name. It's in the same class as a Honda Rebel, or that's called CM250. The Flash 300 is cheaper, better power, and get a V-twin engine compared to the boring single-cylinder Honda. I use it to go shopping and running around. You can tell from the shiny tailback. We will talk them later on. Before we talk about 800NK, I think I need to introduce CFMOTO first. It's probably the top brand in China local motorcycle enterprises. You may watch in other videos that the Chinese government used the CFMOTO 650 TRG as state escort bikes. The police also used them. For fun bikes, CFMOTO came up with some great originally designed bikes like 800NK, 450 SR in USA, which is called 450 SS, 800 MT, and the extremely interesting XO Feifei. Okay, I don't know how to say it in English, and so on. The 800NK is so far the most powerful street bike CFMOTO ever made. It got a 799cc parallel twin with 100 horsepower and 81 Nm of torque. In China, it is currently the most powerful street bike you could possibly get in this price range. You may be shocked that this 100 horsepower monster bike is even less expensive than a Kawasaki Z400 and KTM Duke 390 in China. It's almost half price or even less than half price compared to these classes. Let's say a BMW F900R. To be honest, in consideration of the performance value of money, I think it is even pointless to say other words. But anyway, the 800NK is much more than a deadhead muscle bike, which only can wheelie in the straight line. It has much more than that. In the beginning, let's talk about the drawbacks this bike fucked up. First of all, as the bikes in this class fitted with comprehensive safety blankets like traction control, or even AMU with wheelie control, the 800NK, well, it has nothing but ABS only. That's kind of like the retro European bikes, which always try to kill you, and thus make this bike quite dangerous for the beginner. And I don't recommend any beginner try this bike. Although the top model of this bike is equipped with a screen called ceiling system, include quite a lot of funny things like navigation, Bluetooth, or even use CarPlay in this bike. But I personally think it's horrible. Let's have a look of this green CFMOTO adventure bike 800 MT. That looks much advanced and pleased to eyes. Moreover, the screen is expanding with this bike keyless system, which means you don't need to take your key out. Just press the button on the bike and it will recognize the key and start up, which is great. But it might have some bugs in this system and the bike consistently fails to recognize the key. The next drawback is riding position. This bike has a similar handlebar position as the MT-09, but the seat is a bit too low, just 790mm compared to MT-09 820mm to the ground. Also, the 800 NK pedals are too forward. In combination, your butt will feel uncomfortable after 100 km ride, and the pedals cause some problems when you move the bike slowly, which may interference with your legs, just like a Ducati Scrambler. The third problem is brake. The 800 NK equipped with two J-June calipers with radical master cylinder, but the brake feeling is a bit too soft compared to the Brembo M4.3 or brakes in MT-09. These brakes in 800 NK are not acceptable for this power. That's the main problem of this bike. Let's talk about the shiny piece of this monster street bike: power. With 100 horsepower and very broad power band, this bike tries to wheelie without clutch in second gear. If you are a madman, you will definitely love it. And there's more. We know the KTM 790 Duke is super punchy, but it has a bit of problem in low speed. The throttle is not smooth enough in the beginning. The electric throttle map in 800 NK is much better. It combines the smooth, accurate, and violent character. You can use the most aggressive sport mode in horrible traffic jam without a single problem.
然后这个车的离合器偏重一点，但是我觉得完全可以接受，因为它起步没有难度，你看，而且就一辆走起来，运动模式控制也不难，就是你手上细腻它就不窜。
And the bike still delivers super quick response when turning the tab. Especially when you consider that CFMOTO are not an experienced company in tuning the electric throttle. We used to complain a lot about CFMOTO electric throttle like the CLX 700, which is a fantastic retro bike, but lacks of character due to the lazy and indirect throttle map. In the 800 NK, well, it's just perfection. The next fun about this bike is the noise it makes. The noise of this bike is wild and unique, which may be due to the crankshaft of this engine to 85 degrees, the same as a Duke 790. Also, you may hear pops and bangs when you lift the throttle in low speed. This bike equipped with bi-directional quick shifter except the basic model. This system is good when you're in sport driving. The shifter will change gears quick and accurately in high RPM, but it does have some bugs to fix, like low RPM upshift. The bike will be jerky. Well, downshift is quite good, which is kind of weird. Most bikes behave badly when downshifting. Maybe the engineers work so hard in downshifting mapping and forgot to polish the upshift mapping in lower RPM. And sometimes when you shift from 5th to 6th, it will fail and end up in a fake neutral position with no power delivery. bike handles okay, but not as good as the previous models like 450 SR, which is extremely nimble, or CLX 700, which is really smooth and just what you expect it to do. Maybe because the 800NK has a stock steering damper, and the steering damper is a bit too tight. I admit it works really well in wheelie control and high-speed riding. The bikes feel stable when the front lift, but the steering of this bike is not agile enough compared to MT-09 or 790 Duke.
车倾倒速度感觉不是很快。
It's kind of like a Z900 SE, which has 4-cylinder in the front and heavy. I have to say the MT-09, which I test drive fitted with aftermarket adjustable steering damper and better tires, that helps a lot in handling. The other thing about this bike that's surprisingly good is heat control. Even stuck in a traffic jam for quite a while, you just don't feel any heat. It's just like a 200 or 300cc bike. Let's talk about the looking. I do like the appearance of 800NK. It got that fierce character of a powerful street bike. It is sharp and original design with no sign of copying others. I have seen some modification of this bike, which makes it even better. This bike does have the sharp and fierce feeling like a KTM Super Duke R. The headlight of this bike is quite unique, and it works fantastic at night. Finally, let's compare the CFMOTO 800NK in two dimensions, similar price and similar class. In similar price, the 800NK just kills every other street bikes with its power and refined mechanical quality. In similar class, I have to say that the 800NK is not the best in its class, but certainly in the first echelon. In this comparison, most competitors are in disadvantages except the modified MT-09. The situation is that the MT-09 and F900R lose quite a amount of power in China version ECU due to some environmental restriction. The China version MT-09 only produces about 76 horsepower. It shouldn't be called Master of Torque, it should be called Master of Loss. Nearly every MT-09 owner recovered the power by upmapping the ECU. So for the muscle street bikes, I personally prefer the modified MT-09 because of its ludicrous power produced by the smooth but mad CP3 engine. I love the vivacious and confident handle feeling. It just felt right in every single movement and bring you enough information about the limit and a huge joy. My favorite part is how loose the safety restriction is. It's like the wheelie control and traction control telling you that you ride a Master of Torque, you must go wheelie and let the front wheel be an option. You can let the front wheel off the ground even in the most restricted mode. Compared to that, the safety restriction in Z900 SE kept cutting down your power even the wheel was not sliding. That's like a mom who interferes too much in their child's life. The conclusion is that the 800NK is quite good and exciting to ride, but CFMOTO engineers still need more efforts to put a useful, no troublemaking traction control in it, and polish the details, solving the existing bugs. But let's not forget the 800NK only costs half or even less than half price in its class. It rewrote the book of cost and performance in China street bike. Demonstrate us we can make our own quality and powerful bikes. We got the valuable choices. It just shows us how much premium the foreign brands rob when they lack of competition. Nowadays, most foreign brands start discount some excellent Chinese bike won positive feedback even in foreign markets, like POV 450 Rally, which finished its race in Dakar. So it's a proper rally bike. And the CFMOTO 450 SS won lots of praise in USA, even its price advantage is not obvious there. I'm not here to flatter the local companies and slander other brands. I didn't get a single penny from CFMOTO. We, as customers, no matter where we are, China, Germany, USA, so on, just wish to pick better products that bring more satisfaction to us. I think these progressive development Chinese bike deliver the positive competition for the market. I hope we all get wonderful and cheap bikes. Thanks a lot for watching this film. Hope we met in the next film. Good luck.